Okay, one added thing I wanted to say before we get into this, I'm making navy beans, like navy beans and ham hocks, a quick way. Now this wound up taking only 10 minutes to cook, but one thing I did, I took most of the water out of the beans. I would use the whole thing as it is because it wound up being a little dry. So I would just open the can of beans and use it, the water that's in the can, to cook this, and then it'll come out perfectly. So here we go. On the road, you know, again, these things I do on the road because if you use the dry beans, you got to let it soak overnight, okay? Well, I'm not going to be soaking them overnight and doing all that extra cooking in the Prius. So this works, but again, I would just open the can of beans and use the whole thing, all the water in it, rather than taking most of it out. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do navy beans. Now, growing up, we used to have navy beans, ham hocks that we would make, and cornbread. So I'm going to try this and see if it's going to work. I don't know how well the beans are going to be, the canned beans, but we're going to give it a try and just see how this is going to work. So I'm going to use the regular navy beans. Now, one thing I know I do love is butter beans, but I am going to try it with the navy beans, and let's see if this is going to work or not. And instead of ham hocks, I've gotten a boneless ham steak, okay? So we're going to cut some of this up in it. It's hickory smoked, so hopefully that'll work. And I did look for the regular cornbread, you know, that you can make yourself. I couldn't find it, but they did have cornbread already made. I would have, you know, rather tried to find the one that you cook yourself, but I didn't see it. I went through the whole store and no, did not see the cornbread. So I'm gonna dump out some of this, some of that water. So we'll put the navy beans in here. I did leave a little bit of water from there in here so that it's got some moisture in it as this is cooking. Dump some of that bean water on. Okay. Making a mess here. So we're just going to open this up, and I'm going to cut up some of this ham. Well, if I can get this open. Can you pull it? Maybe I can just pull it. It's slippery. There we go. Okay. Pull that away. So I'm going to do about half this ham slice, and then I'll keep the rest for something else. So we're just going to dice up this ham slice. So I'm just making small cubes, you know, small cubes. I'm going to put that in there with the beans. My wooden spoon out so I could stir this. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there. I don't think we need a whole lot because we've got the ham in there and that is salty already. I am going to cut up some green onion and put in there. Now I don't do heavy onion because of the ostomy. But I may try a little bit of this green onion in there. A little color and a little flavor. Okay. Take off this outer part here. Okay. Cut up some of this onion. I'm going to put a little bit of butter in with this as well. About a teaspoon. And just a little bit of salt. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot of salt in here because I've got the ham in there, which is already salty. But I do want to put a little bit in there. So I'm going to let this cook a bit. Let me show you what we've got here. Bring this over. And There you can see our pot of bubbling beans. We've got bubbling beans at the moment. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put this on and let this cook down a little bit. And I'll come check this in about 15 minutes. Now, I'm kind of a 15, 20-minute cooker. So we'll see how this works, how it tastes, if it's actually going to kind of taste like the, navy beans and ham hocks. We'll see how it does. You know, once it's done, you put a little bit of that cornbread in there, and we'll give it a try. I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know, edible or not. Well, I'm 10 minutes in and it's done. Okay, you can see there, 10 minutes in. I'm going to take a little of this cornbread and put in here. We'll put a little bit of butter in with this as well. About a teaspoon. And here we have it. The beans and just a little bit of salt. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot of salt in here because got the ham in there, which is already salty. But I do want to put a little bit in there. That works. But I put a little too much salt in it because I forgot, I have really reduced my salt intake. So what I normally put in there, it wound up being too much. So I would cook it first and taste it because the ham is salty. The cornbread does cut down some of that, but I would salt it afterwards if you need a little extra.